Hi guys, today I'm going to do a very short video. I heard you. I heard you. Those of you who said, yeah right, short, Tanya, do a short video. I heard you. But seriously, this is going to be a very short video. And it's about how to write a story. Now I know I did a previous video where we spoke about the storytelling framework, and that is the storytelling framework. But in today's video, I'm going to break it down a little bit more, especially because I know for my college students, you're going to be asked to do an inspirational speech and an inspirational speech. Well, the ones we want at the college. The inspirational speech has to have a story, a real story. And I know I keep saying real story because we do use the word loosely. Because if I tell you anything that happened to me, I'm calling it a story. But in the strictest sense of the word, it's only a story when there is change. So I'm going to be giving you some tips because, guys, you know I love these books, right? But this book is really good. Naked, Drunk, and Writing. I know when I said naked, some of you said, ooh. But seriously, Naked, Drunk, and Writing, shed your inhibitions and craft a compelling memoir or personal essay. And what you basically are doing is what could be equivalent to a personal essay. So she has a formula. So I'm going to give you that formula. And I know, guys, that if you follow the formula, you're going to have a great story. So join me and let's talk about how to really craft a story. Now, one of the things I say a lot is it a story or is it an anecdote? And anecdotes are great also. But if you're going to be telling a longer story for your speech, you have to tell a real story. So here's a little formula that Adair recommended. I should have written the page number because, you know, as an instructor, I never want it said, oh my God, she plagiarized. So I believe it came from, okay, guys, no time for me to find out which page it came from. Page 22. Yeah, see, I even have my little piece of paper in it. This is a book that I got many years ago, and it was like my Bible. So, okay, for those of you who don't read a Bible, but it was like my Bible. So a lot of dog ears and it's not nice and new anymore. That's because I really use it a lot. Anyway, this one, page 22. So you want to set up this formula so that you can just fill in the blanks first before you tell your story. So I wanted blank. I wanted it because blank. To get it, I had to do blah, 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 action. However, something got in my way. What was that thing? I had to try something different. So I blank, 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 because you tried more than one thing. All the time I was thinking blank. The turning point came when blank. When that happened, I realized blank, which was the point of the story. And that's where you have your epiphany. Remember, we speak about the conflict and then the resolution. So that's a conflict, right? And at the top of the conflict, we learn something, right? And then the change happens at that point. And then the resolution, after that, I blank. In other words, what did you do as a realization? Oh, sorry, as a result. What did you do as a result of your realization? Now, guys, I know it sounds simple. Well, it sounds simple when you look at it like this, but trust me, if you fill in the blanks, you will get a story. Now, I know when I just started doing personal essay writing, and guys, it is a skill. If you're thinking that my stories are great, they're not great because I'm a natural. No, I'm a natural storyteller and the drama and all that. But when it comes to writing a story, I struggled for a long time. You know, I'd have these great ideas I would have these moments in my life where there was an emotional, where I knew, hey, this could be a story. But when I tried writing it, it didn't feel as great as when I thought it and when it happened. So I did a couple workshops. I did quite a lot of workshops, including I did a 12-week course at Douglas also, where I learned how to write stories and I got feedback from classmates. It was very different being a student, but I learned so much. Now you have the benefit of me having worked it out. You don't have to do the classes. All you have to do is follow this formula. So start with this and then develop your story and then look at any other story and see if you can match it. Movies that you enjoy or books that you've read, see where each of these sections would fall. So I'm going to give you an example. For those of you who watched my video where I spoke about how I started teaching, and if you haven't watched it, I'm going to have the video link somewhere here, or I'll have the picture or something, and you can look back and see how it connects. So if you think about it, I wanted a big job. Remember I told you, I wasn't a doctor. I wasn't the doctor that my parents wanted. So I wanted a big job to make them proud of me. I wanted it because, so I told you the backstory already. So I wanted a big job and I wanted it because I wanted my parents to feel proud of me and to feel that even though I wasn't the doctor that they wanted, I was still worthy of their love, right? So to get it, I went to an interview unprepared. So something got in my way. Oh, what could that be? Lack of preparation. Yeah, because when they said I would need to relocate to Montego Bay, I was like, no, I have a boyfriend here and I kind of want to marry him. And he kind of hasn't asked me yet, but I have to stick around to make sure that he asks me and not someone else. Yep, insecure 22-year-old. Who wasn't? So, however, something got in my way. So I had to try something different. Okay, so I didn't get the job I wanted. So as I was walking away from the tent, I was thinking, what am I gonna do? And then Miss Morrison called my name, right? So sometimes we don't do many things because right here it says there may be several action, reaction. I only had one. I tried to figure out what would I do. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I had actually been going home and I was going to start to think about maybe, well, sending out more resumes because I didn't have a job, right? So that's a thought. I just didn't do it. And then I met her. And when I met her, all that time I was thinking, wow, Tanya, you're failing again? Because I had failed natural sciences, right? And don't know if I said that in that video because I've told that story a couple times. Yeah, when a story works, you tell it many times. But I know I have it on my YouTube channel where I spoke about it from another angle. And the truth was that I had failed so many times before. I failed at university. Well, I failed at university for 3 years. So I was feeling like a failure. I thought, oh my God, still you're failing again? So at that time, I was thinking that I was a failure. But the turning point came when I heard, Miss Leach, Miss Leach. That was my name then. And that's how formal my English teacher was. So when I heard her name and I looked around, I said, Miss Morrison. And that was the start. And as I continued talking to her, so at that time I was thinking I was a failure. The turning point came and Miss Morrison said something to me. And then that's where I would have to develop it because that's the crux of the story. So she said to me, well, would you like to teach at your alma mater? And I was like, me? Teach? No, never. That's not me. And I like to dramatize that part because people always think, really? You didn't want to be a teacher? You didn't think you were one? You didn't think you could do it? Not that I didn't think I could do it. I just never thought about it because it was not an important job. I wanted a big job like a doctor. And since I couldn't be a doctor, then I had to be at the top. I had to be the personal manager. I had to be the director. I wasn't getting that, but that's what I wanted, right? When that happened, I realized that it's not about pleasing others, but it's about finding your calling. And that was my realization, because the first day I stepped into the classroom, as I say all the time, I fell in love. I had the most rambunctious set of grade 10 girls. It was an all-girls school. And oh my God, they kept me hopping. But they kept me laughing. They kept me entertained. And I think that was the first time I realized that I also enjoyed telling stories, or listening to stories, because I had a class once and I asked them to dramatize something. And when they did it, I fell further in love with teaching. But I was actually teaching history, which I probably did not say in that story because it wasn't relevant to the story. But I actually started teaching history. I didn't like it. I did well at history in school, but I found that it was just not my thing. And I eventually, by the next year, I started to teach language. So that's something I may have not said in any of the videos, because when she offered me the job, when Miss Morrison offered me the job, she said, how about if you teach English in the second year and history for the first year? And I said, no, if I'm going to teach anything, it would have to be English. And she said, well, we don't have an opening for an English teacher, but you did history in your degree. I said, yeah, did it and hated it. And she said, do it for 1 year, and then the next year you can teach English language and literature. And I thought, next year I'll be gone. But I took the job for 1 year. And today it has been 33 years. Or is it 34 now? The years are adding up, I know. But that's a story. You know, I wanted something. I had an obstacle. I tried this. She said that. And I guess the resolution would be after I actually started teaching. But that's a story. Okay, guys? So now I want you to write a story. Not necessarily an inspirational story yet, but practice writing a story. Find something that kind of created some kind of emotional reaction, because that's where you want to start. If you did not have an emotional reaction, do not tell the story, because we're not going to feel it either. And you want us to feel something, right? So use this structure, follow it, and I promise you, if you do, you will have a great story. And Tanya will just be doing snaps all speech long. I love doing those snaps, guys. Give me some snaps, please. So, in conclusion, if you're going to write a story, always ask yourself, is it a story or is it an anecdote? And if it is not an anecdote, then you're going for a story. And if you do, follow this woman, naked, drunk, and writing, and craft your impactful story. So thank you for watching, guys. I know if you do this, I know if you follow this structure, I'll be doing those snaps all speech long. And I love doing those snaps. We're going to look at enough models and examples so you get ideas. But as you know, I don't give feedback on this speech. You have to get it right. And you have to get it right on your own. And your attention grabber alone is worth 5 marks. And your introduction, or your first few minutes where you really hold our attention and take us somewhere, all of that is worth 10 out of 30 marks. So it's a lot of work. And if that part doesn't work, my experience has been that the speech bombs. Unfortunately, most people get 6 out of 10 or 18 out of 30 for the inspirational speech. Don't blame me, it's not my fault. I just mark what I hear. But you know what though, guys? As I'm doing this video for this fall 2022 class, I have to tell you though, this is the strongest. These 2 classes are the strongest I've ever had in my 20 years of teaching public speaking. No lie. Now, when my 2023 students watch this, I hope they're saying, oh, Tanya, we're going to show you. But so far, you guys have been the strongest speakers I've had. I would say, because at least half of you already are A students. Now, we don't want this speech to bring our grades down, right, guys? So please apply what is discussed here. Do that outline. I promise you, if you do that, you'll have a great story and you'll like your grade, most importantly. So see you soon. See you in class. See you in the next video if you're not in my class. Bye for now.